Hello Beautiful presents Shannon Ayers Speaks with the Grammy Award-winning singer, ASCAP Vanguard and BMI Award-winning songwriter, actress, and voiceover artist, Dawnn Lewis.
We want to welcome Miss Dawnn Lewis to Hello Beautiful. Welcome, Miss Dawnn Lewis.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful now, looking at your beautiful face, staring at me.
I'm happy to see you too. Yeah. I love doing good work with good people. I do.
Thank you. Speaking of good people, we all know you, of course, from ADifferentWorld and hanging with Mr. Cooper and some of the other things that you've done. One of the things that I like about doing Hello Beautiful is I like to highlight the person and who that person is behind the camera, behind the film, off the stage. But you made that difficult because you've done too much stuff.
Are you really mad at me for paying my mortgage? You really mad at me for paying my mortgage for real? Oh my goodness.
Just a little bit, because you didn't make this easy.
The mortgage has got to get paid. And
I guess.
Plane trip every now and then. And
if you want to be selfish and make it all about you, I guess. No, I mean, I knew just from following you over the years, I knew you've done a lot of things, and I knew you were doing things since ADifferentWorld, but I did not realize how much. Do you sleep?
Actually, I do. This COVID, I got to tell you, is messing with my sleep a little bit. Yeah. You know, because those days, you know, when you're going, you know, you're good and you get your sleep in, but those days when there's not as much to do to keep you busy, and, you know, you're really grateful you bought the sofa you bought because it's really quite comfortable and lovely.
Yes.
And you look at the time and it says, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
It's 7:45. What? Wait, I can't go to bed at 7:45?
Right.
No,
right.
So you try to make yourself go to bed maybe like at 9:30, 10 o'clock, but you're still kind of wide awake. And you just lay in bed tossing and turning when you try to make yourself fall asleep. So
I can imagine with somebody as busy as you. I was really just floored. I mean, I've always known you to be extremely talented and multi-talented, but you made my eyes tired. I'm like, is there anything you have not done? Maybe that's the question I should ask. I mean, we already know you're accomplished with your NAACP award, your Trumpet Award, your BMIs, your ASCAP, and your Grammy. Do you think you have enough?
You know what? Lord willing, there's always more to come. Lord willing, and I'm grateful for it. You know, I love doing work that is good work, like I said, with good people. And every now and then you get acknowledged for it. And, you know, other times you don't get acknowledged at all. Sure. And so that's why I focus on the work and the quality of the work and the quality of the environment. And I'm so grateful every time I get seen. It really means the world to me. But on the other hand, if I wasn't seen, I would probably still be doing it. But being seen, again, it helps me pay the mortgage.
I mean, but that seems like that's the bonus though, right? Because you really seem like we definitely want to pay the bills, but you know, when you enjoy what you do,
yes.
And that's what I found in all of the footage and everything that I've seen and the different interviews. You are one person that really enjoys what you do. To be able to do that and pay the bills is always a good thing.
It's beyond a good thing. When God says he will bless you above and beyond all you can ever think, ask, or desire, I know I fall in that category. And I'm so grateful. And I find myself apologizing regularly to my other brothers and sisters in Christ, because, you know, God can't possibly be spending any time with you because he's with me.
Oh, I like that.
So let me say I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, that's awesome. Tell us about some of the things you've been doing.
Wow. Well, most recently, I was a guest star on the series The Boys on Amazon.
I saw you there.
That show. When they asked me would I please come up and play, I said, my gosh. I said, well, we need you for about 2 weeks. I said, no, I can't do 2 weeks. I'm packing right this minute to go to New York to do a Broadway show. And I said, I can give you 3 days. So we shot 3, and I just had so much fun with the cast. I'm such a fan of the show. I really hope they find a way to bring my little character back and be part of the
I hope so too. We were a little mad because when we got caught up, it's like, okay, now we gotta wait, really?
Now I gotta wait, yes. So that was one of the things that I did, and literally I landed back in LA from Canada and maybe was here for about 5 days. During that 5 days, I received my honorary doctorate in
Congratulations.
Thank you for the work that I do with underserved youth and communities across the country and abroad. And then I had a going away birthday party. And
it was in August.
My birthday's in August.
Yeah.
So 2 days after that, I was on a plane to New York to start rehearsals for Tina.
Wow.
So since last year, August, I've been doing the Tina Turner musical on Broadway, and I've been playing Zelma Bullock, Tina Turner's mom.
Wow.
So while I was doing that, I do voices for animation as well. So I've been working on this new little series for CBS All Access called Star Trek Lower Decks.
Yeah.
So I am so thrilled to be part of the Star Trek franchise and family. And we are
Captain, right?
I play Captain Carol Freeman. Yeah. Yes, I do.
But what about Mariner? Did she follow protocol?
Yeah, I think so.
This says you came back covered in bite marks wearing an alien frock. But she had nothing to do with that?
So that began premiering this past summer as well. And a feature film I shot also before I left for New York called Be the Light, written and directed by iZombie star Malcolm Goodwin.
Oh, wow.
Right. I was a recurring character on iZombie for several months. And that was how Malcolm and I, got reconnected. And he was so, I don't know if this is love or if he didn't like me or something, but he reminded me that I came to his elementary school and spoke at his elementary school, the same elementary school that I went to, because I was always in the habit of going back to my schools and seeing my teachers and, speaking into the lives of the kids and say, you see right there, I used to sit right there. And that person that used to sit over there used to bully me all the time. I was so bullied in elementary school. So I would go back and basically find my safe place with my teachers who helped walk me through it and honestly helped me really be confident and happy in this creative space. Because I've been singing since I was 4, started dancing at 7, acting at 11. I played cello for about 7 years. And they kept, yes, Dawnn, yes, and helped me find
that is beautiful.
A place of comfort and love within myself. And 2 of those teachers in particular, that were my teachers from 2nd grade, Barbara Ames and Karen Fogler, are still my friends to this day. They keep trying to get me to call them by their first name, but I don't think that's ever going to be possible.
Right.
Always, this is Ames.
Right. Because you'll always be that little girl.
Always. So they come to every single thing I have ever done. While I was on Broadway, they came and saw Tina. And another person who you may have heard of also credits them with being an inspiration towards his best creative self. And he wrote a couple of plays and some music. His name is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Okay,
I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No, I've only seen Hamilton, which I'm driving my family nuts, like 362 times and a half.
Well, there you go. So Lynn credits them as well. So, to all the teachers who are out there, please keep doing what you do because you're inspiring lives, you are saving lives, you are changing lives. And for some young person, you may be the only positive voice that they're hearing. So thank you. Thank you for the love that you've put in my life. So,
but that's huge. Just for that point right there, when we talk about our teachers and we talk about our influencers,
Right.
people don't realize, I have a lot of teachers in my family, and I can still remember those teachers that when I was at my lowest point, like you said, being bullied or feeling a certain something, that I can credit with where I am today, because you still hear that voice. It's like, no, you tune that out. You are special. You have something to offer to this world. You are beautiful. You hear those voices in your ear with the competing noise.
You do. And, it could go either way. You could listen to the negativity, or the positivity. And that's the game changer for any of us in life. It really is. One of my other teachers who passed away several years ago, she had, and this was public school that I went to, PS, that's what PS stands for, Public School 9.
In New York, Brooklyn?
New York. Yes, in Brooklyn, New York. And her name was Ruth Gibbs. And I will never forget Mrs. Gibbs, because she started this after school program called the Black History Club. And so if you remember those cartoons or years ago called Scholastic Rock, where they would put history lessons and math lessons into a song to help you learn them. Yes. That was what she did for us. I learned who Booker T. Washington was, who Jan Matzeliger was, who Phyllis Wheatley was. I mean, all of those songs are still in my head.
Wow.
Phyllis Wheatley sang so sweetly, a little black girl who grew up to be a poetess. General George Washington sent her a note to thank her for the letter that she wrote. Phyllis Wheatley sang so sweetly, a little black girl who grew up to be a poetess.
Wow.
I learned that song when I was 8.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
At that same public school, we had nationalities. We had black kids. Back then, you were black. We had black kids. We had Haitian kids. We had white kids, Asian kids, Latino kids. I learned the Puerto Rican national anthem in elementary school. We used to sing the Star Spangled Banner, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and the Puerto Rican national anthem.
Wow. And what school was this again?
Public School 9. It's changed names a couple of times over the years. I think recently it got changed again, because one of the names that it got changed to might have been like a person who owned slaves or somebody like that nature. And they said, no, after several years, we're not going to leave this here. We're going to change it. So the name changed, I think, within the last couple of years. Again, so all of that exposure speaks to where we are right now in the world. If we embraced more of that, if we had more teachers, if we had more households, if we had more parents, if we had more legislature that was focused on recognizing, we're here. Nobody's going anywhere. I don't know when you tell me where to go back to. I tell you what, you first.
Right.
You go and I'll go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But I'm taking my stuff with me. All that stuff that we brought.
All the stuff that I created and brought is coming with me.
Right.
The music, the clothes, the art, the funk, the forgiveness, because y'all can be some unforgiving people.
Yes.
I think part of the dominant culture's biggest fear is that if given the opportunity, we will turn around and treat them the way they've been treating us.
And you know what's interesting about that? As angry as we get, as hurt as we've been, I just don't think we're even capable of doing to human beings what
has been
done to us and what continues to be done to us.
Because if we were that person, we would have done it.
Oh, absolutely.
We would have done it by now. Yes. That's just not who we are. Yes. It's just not who we are organically. So, all of this fear of, people of color, it's like, no, we're not the ones to be afraid of. You need to be afraid of each other.
Afraid of the mirror.
Be afraid of the mirror.
Yes.
Because we're not the ones burning crosses on lawns.
That's right.
We're not the ones turning hoses
in the street.
In the street. That's not us doing that. Okay? So I mean that's a whole other topic. But
it's relevant. And unfortunately, And it really speaks to where we are now as a country, because no matter how many great things, I mean, even just in the short period of time, all of the great things that you shared, that's still woven into our fabric.
Yeah.
And that's still a part of where we are, even from then and even now, which is why I think that what you shared about your schooling back then, we have some great teachers now, but just as a whole, we've kind of lost something along the way when it comes to education and when it comes to what we had back then compared to what we have now. Those teachers that you're remembering and those influence. And we do have teachers, and that's not saying at all that we don't have teachers that are great, but you and I alike can remember those teachers by name.
Yeah.
Those influence. You can sing that song like you learned it just yesterday.
Yesterday.
No,
I think that there are some amazing teachers out there. I really don't believe that teachers as a whole get the support that they need in order to do the job that is asked of them. I don't believe, from the work that I've done in schools, that parents have become younger and younger when having children. So you have children raising children, and they were going through their own maturation while they're trying to raise a young person. And all too often, when you really don't have the time to focus on what you're putting into this young person, you start to hold other people responsible for raising them. So our teachers are not only responsible for teaching our kids, but they're also responsible for raising those kids and hopefully trying to make
psychological development.
Psychological development, home training, manners, common courtesy, respect, discipline. I mean, they're expected to do a whole lot. And then on top of that, depending on what community you're in, you're fighting for your life every time you go into the school building.
It's my cousin, my cousin was talking to us one day. It was at a family gathering, and he was talking about segregation. And he was talking about what that did for us in our community, because in so many ways, we were better off in terms of education-wise when we educated ourselves within our own community and certain things that we learned, and that there was something kind of lost along the way. Segregation, yes, we do want to be accepted. We do want to be citizens. We do want to be a part of everything. But when we kind of get somebody else's watered down version of history, for example, growing up in New Orleans, I was extremely embarrassed by the time I got to an HBCU. When I went to Xavier University in New Orleans, that's when I finally learned who I was.
Yeah.
But I went to private schools in my earlier years growing up, and you would think that I would have learned a lot of those things, but I didn't. A lot of the things that I learned at Xavier University in New Orleans. And I was embarrassed to be 18 and 19 years old to understand what I did not know about our history and about our culture.
But that's across the board. Yeah. And I don't know that has to do with whether or not you go to a private school, a public school, a white school, or a Black school. That's about what do we present as fact and truth, which is what, that the project is about. It's about, okay, if we're going to teach history, then let's say what really happened.
Yes.
So everybody's aware, so that there's not this skewed version of the good guys and the bad guys. And this whole period that gets glossed over in half a page in some history book called slavery, that, these people came, but it ended with Abraham Lincoln. So let's just start there.
Right.
So Abraham Lincoln did this, and everybody's free. And so what's next? What else did we do? It's, so it depends on who's willing to teach the truth. Who's willing, and they can only teach what they've been taught.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Unless they've gone the extra step to say, well, what else is there? And dig a little deeper and read some different books, and then get permission from the Board of Education to say, I want to include this in my curriculum. And then they have to jump through whatever hoops they have to hoop jump through with the superintendent of education.
Make somebody else happy and comfortable.
And it goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's the sadness of where we are. But the hope of where we are is that every generation gets to blow out the limits of what they thought was real.
yes.
Because a number of generations ago, if you sailed far enough on the ocean, you would fall off the edge of the earth.
Right.
A number of generations ago,
Yeah.
the universe revolved around us, and we stood still.
Right.
Until revelation, until information, until revolution demanded, no. We are not stopping there, because that's a little crazy.
Push the envelope, and if I fall off, let me fall off trying to find out what it really is.
And then you'll be right, and you can have a party, fine. Okay, but if I'm right, then we need to start looking at some other stuff. The same thing with medicine. They used to bleed people. They used to put leeches on you. They used to, slave owners used to put little Black children at their feet to suck the sickness out of their bodies. Come on now.
Yeah, and that's
for sure. Oh, this makes perfect sense.
Yes, that's the ugly truth that no one wants to speak about. And I can tell just from listening to you with where you came from and where you are now, it speaks volumes in terms of what it is you have to give back and your greatest passion. As I've shared before, I choose my guests carefully. And so it was by design that I wanted to sit down and talk with you. You said, good people doing good things. When I see what you've been doing for our youth and your mission and what you have made, yes, like I said, we got to pay the bills. I get that part. And actually, you're an extraordinary talent. There is just you beautiful voice, beautiful, acting career, film, television, theater, tap, songwriting. Okay, to be continued till tomorrow. And you've just done some extraordinary things, and you could do anything with that talent. But what you've chosen to do was give back to our young people and place yourself in a position where not only are you trying to take care of the young people, but what I was most impressed with is what you've done with their parents. Tell us a little bit about ANewDayFoundation and how that started and what the purpose is of that program, where it is right now and where you'd like to see it go.
Wow. Thank you, first of all. I'm
welcome.
Thank you. The ANewDayFoundation basically started back from those days when, like I said, I would go back to my previous school and get that, love hug from my previous teachers. And then, of course, they would ask me, well, say a few words to the kids while we're here in the class. So I'd say hi, and they would ask me, well, what is junior high school like? Or what is high school like? And, from each graduation, I would come back to my previous schools. I would do concerts in the faculty lounge, all those kinds of things. I would lead little classes and exercises and teach them songs and read books to the kids in the school. And then I was doing that all through college, went back to high school. I went to the High School of Music and Art of Fame. And this year marks the 20th anniversary? No, 40th anniversary of that movie, Fame.
Wow.
Which was done like the year after I graduated high school. I went to that high school. I was so pissed. I said, if I had gotten left back 1 year, I could have been Irene Cara. I would have been a star. But anyway, so, but now, I'm graduating college and I'm doing, off Broadway. I have a recording career. I've got a single out. I'm on Billboard. I'm doing clubs. I'm marketing. I do the national tour of the Tap Dance Kid, man. I'm rocking and I'm rolling. And I'll jump back to school in a minute, to college. Remind me to tell you about that. So now, after Tap Dance Kid, I hear about they're going to do a spinoff of The Cosby Show. So long story short, they let me audition. I booked the role of Jaleesa. The musical director contacts me because he's got a copy of my demo tape with my singing and songwriting and said, would you be willing to work with me on the theme song for this new show?
I know my parents loved me. Stand behind me, come what may. I know now that I'm ready, yeah, for a fire.
I write the theme song for A Different World. They didn't know they'd hire the same person until they'd hired me for both jobs. Okay, so now that the show has been on, we shot the pilot in 86, we start shooting the season 87, the season airs September of 87. I come back to New York for Christmas break. So such is my habit, I start going back to the schools, to see my teachers and say, hey, I'm good, how are you doing, everything okay? But this time, I walk into the hallways of music and art and some kids scream, oh my God, it's Jaleesa. And I am swarmed. They have to send the police to come and get me out of the lobby. Wow. And the principal makes an announcement. I need you all to please go to your classes. Miss Lewis will come to see you, but you have got to get out of the hallways.
How awesome is that?
I start spending, they added an extra half a day to the school day. So I could go around to each classroom and start talking to the kids, because basically I was living their dream. When you go to a school like music and art, that's what everybody wants to do. They want to turn their imagination and their desire into a career. So now I'm answering questions and I'm realizing something clicks in me that says, you know what, Dawnn, this isn't just about you feeling good. This is about you actually having something to offer, to inform, and maybe even inspire someone who is going through the exact same journey you went through, sitting in the exact same classroom you sat in, to be encouraged, to try to be fortified and resilient, to be their best self. Wow. And that's when I started intentionally doing master classes, going around to universities and cultural groups and civic groups, speaking, teaching people how to sing, read music, perform, audition, all kinds of things, break down scenes and direct. So I've been doing that for close to 40 years. Wow. About 8 years ago, there's a couple of the programs I do because I was noticing a disparity across the country for our Black and brown kids in the areas of financial literacy and technology. So I wanted to take some of the workshops I do nationally. And there were several organizations along the way that I have supported, or I have, led workshops for or spoken for, who said, we would love to support you, but we can't just give you money. You have to be an organized nonprofit. Right. So I formed the ANewDayFoundation, which is a play on my name, Dawnn, A New Day. Mm-hmm. And also with the thinking that where you were yesterday is not where you have to be today, and daggone for where you have to be tomorrow. So consider us your support towards a new day of opportunity, of you achieving the reality of becoming your best self. So that was how the A New Day Foundation was formed. So during the year, we call them experiences, cultural and career experiences exposing teenage boys. That program is called Mentors, MENTORS, which stands for Men Talking of Relevant Situations. Oh, I like that. We have some men who come and speak with the young boys. We take them, the maximum in the group is 20 at a time. And we do a similar thing with young girls, and it's called Sisters Hangout. Again, girls 13 to 19. And we expose them to different career opportunities that they may never have even thought of before, as well as cultural experiences that they may never have thought of before. We've done everything from taking them to LAX airport and had them ghost the different professionals around the airport about what it takes to be an engineer and run one of the busiest airports in the country.
That's life-changing.
Down to City Hall. We took a group of 20 girls camping. Can you imagine 20 girls who couldn't put the weave in and pat and say, no, Blanche, you sleeping in a sleeping bag. You're gonna learn how to ride horses. Right. We're gonna cook some food, We're gonna say, okay. Yes, for a weekend. Like I mentioned, I do voiceovers. So I took a large group of kids into one of the recording studios that I work at fairly often. And one of the companies that I do video games for was very impressed and said, we want to help. Can we give you some money? I said, we can always use money, but what we really need is to create more experiences for these kids. So one of the directors that I work with often donated 6 hours of her time.
Wow.
The engineer she normally works with donated 6 hours of his time. The studio we normally record in that has recorded everyone from Michael Jackson to the Rolling Stones to the Minions movies, Kevin Hart, et cetera, donated 6 hours of studio time in their A studio, in their biggest room. They refused to let me buy even any of the food and sodas to feed the kids.
Wow.
So each of these experiences starts with a day where we take them on the excursion. We end the excursion, we feed them. We ask them, what did you learn during the day? We have a couple of guest speakers come in, and then we have what's called a safe space discussion, where they are free to talk about what is going on in their lives. And you get the opportunity now for peer-to-peer mentorship, so that these kids that started out as strangers, now by the end of the day of all that interacting has now possibly made a new friend. And some of these kids are kids who never would have spoken to each other in school.
Wow.
You know, the valedictorian with the problem child.
Right.
But each of them found a common ground in what we were offering. And one of those days, that day that I was talking about, we took them into the studio to teach them how to create and develop their own video and animation projects. Yeah. So we broke them into 3 groups, and the groups rotated throughout the day. So I had some with me in the booth, teaching them how to use the microphone to manipulate their voices, to create characters and read copy. Another group was with the engineer, learning how to use the mixer board and EQ mics and do all of that. Another group was with the director, learning how to break down scripts and how to direct us in the booth. Then they rotated all day. So by the end of the day, everybody had gotten to do some of everything. And these kids' heads were like ready to pop off.
I'm sure.
Oh my God, that's like a
opened
job.
Up a whole new world, no pun intended, but
they're like, this is a job. I can get paid to do this. I said, yeah, how do you think those cartoons happen? How do you think those video games happen? Somebody has to draw all of that stuff. Someone has to record the voices. Someone has to create the voices. I mean, all of that. Someone has to write the script. Mm-hmm. So their heads were like, oh my God. So out of that one session in the program since, we've gotten like 4 engineering students.
Wow.
Came out of that. We've got
That's
3
huge.
Screenwriters that came out of that. And you would think everybody wants to act and be behind the mic. They're like, nah, that's hard. I'm embarrassed. I want to direct. I want to tell people what to do. You know, those kinds of things. And so those are the youth programs. And then every year we have an annual conference. And that conference is a 7-hour day with workshops in financial literacy and technology for high school juniors and seniors, like on their preparing and on their way into college, and college freshmen and sophomores. Those who have just arrived and now trying to figure out, okay, now what? I'm here. Now what? Now what do I do? And for the high school students, that's where what you're talking about, we have workshops for all of the parents. So we send that entire household home informed with how you can get your kid and your family economically safely to and through higher education, so that it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be intimidating. It's very doable. And we give resources and tools on how to do that. And we have professionals from the fields of banking, from engineering. We have, nuclear engineers and physicists come in and teach workshops in technology, in financial literacy, different representatives from multiple banks. We have AIDS Healthcare Foundation comes in and teaches wellness courses and how to be sexually responsible, especially during these transitional years when, you know, the hormones are raging, you're trying to find some independence, because we can give you great information. Right. But if you go out in life and make a really stupid choice, you could derail everything.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But it's life changing. You're covering the whole gamut.
We try. Yeah. We try to speak into fuel whole human beings. And at the end of the day, thank you.
No, that's just the fact you had me at the parents. And I mean, really, because I grew up in the hood. You know, I know what that looks like. Exactly. So right. New Orleans is not that much different from New York when you talk about, you know, during that time. And when you think about, so equipping the kids, yes, we want to expose them to things that they would not normally see in their environments. But the added piece to bring the parents in, because when I read about that, I guess what was incredible to me is, and I was fortunate and blessed to have a mom that even though we were in the hood, my mom was like, no, you're going to be something. No, you're going to do something. You know, you're in the hood, but not of the hood, you know, that sort of thing.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have that.
That's
And
very
so
true.
you have some parents who weren't parented themselves. And so it's intimidating for your child to come in and telling you about all these things that they can't afford and all of these things and your big dreams. And now, well, how am I supposed to make that happen? What do you want me to, you know? So equipping both of them and showing them what resources are available and that everything doesn't have to cost money. You know, some things do, but showing them with the tools and the resources. And also, I would imagine it would probably even help the parents with things that they didn't know before to even better themselves.
Oh, but it does. It does. It helps them balance the household's budget. You know what I mean? And when you send that parent home, they can go talk to their sisters and brothers who also had kids and say, this is what I learned. And this is what you can do. And that's how you empower and infuse a community. You start with the family. And then the family learns how to stand on solid ground. And then they either share that information or they stand as an example and a testimony to whoever's looking. And whoever's looking goes, wait a minute, how did you just do this and this and this? Really? Okay. All right. And that's how we get so many kids coming through our programs, is that, you know, one kid goes and talks about the experience they had in the recording studio, or the experience they had camping, or the experience they had at the rodeo, or down at City Hall, or down at the Reclamation Center to learn how to make clean energy, all those things. And at the end of the conference, it's culminated, we give out 8 scholarships of $2,000 each and a brand new computer. So,
oh, I applaud you for that. I mean, and that is no small thing. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you that because you know the work that you put into it, but I'm glad my listeners get to hear that and understand that you're not just an actress. You're not just a singer. You're not just a songwriter. You're not just an accomplished artist. You're somebody that's using your talents and your gifts and your notoriety for something positive to give back to a community. I want to kind of dial back just a little bit and go back to that little girl that you said was bullied. And the reason why I want to talk about that, because that speaks to the very essence. I always try to do a shameless plug of what Hello Beautiful is all about. Hello Beautiful is where we encourage women and girls to understand their beauty by design and know their worth. And what people don't realize is a lot of that is lost in school. It's lost in school when either you don't have what other kids may have, or, you know, you may have pimples, or your hair may not be the right texture, your skin may not be the right color. And I'm talking about even within our community, and you're being picked on. How does that young girl transition into the Dawnn Lewis that's sitting before me today?
Wow. Honestly, I don't really think there's one formula. There really isn't, because everybody's circumstance, as you just described, is really different. Everybody's core vulnerable spot is different.
Sure.
And what I tell kids, this is a song I wrote years ago called I'm Special. And I think it starts with recognizing that there will never be another you. You are the only you there will ever be. Even if you have an identical twin, it's still not you.
That's right.
There may be so many aspects that reflect and resemble and all of that kind, but it's still not you. You can make choices that other person doesn't have to make, and vice versa.
Sure.
And all those kinds of things start to set you apart. So once which was helpful to me, once I continued to receive that message, it helped me be okay or better or tolerate what I was enduring, you know, to see the other side, to see that not only am I the only me, but where I'm standing right now today is not where I'm going to be tomorrow. These people who I want so much to impress and want so much to like me, may not even be in my class next year. I may be in a completely different school next year. Do you know what I mean? So while it's wonderful to be liked, it's wonderful to be played with, it's horrible to be singled out. It's horrible to be attacked. We are all human beings. We all have feelings. And for those of you, your listeners who happen to be parents who maybe when you were a kid, you were the attacker, I hope you don't do that anymore. I really hope that you, if you have children, recognize that reality in your child, if your child is the attacker, and you need to start at home with checking that child. And don't allow that child to take that behavior and that mindset that it's okay to demean and to degrade and to dominate some other person's child. Because you wouldn't like it if they were doing that to your child. Okay. You'd have something to say. Okay? So we need to do better for our kids and what we start with at home.
Yes.
For that little girl, know that there will never be another you. You are it. Okay? So the sky's the limit on what you do with your it, with what comes in from outside, from inside of you out. You don't like the texture of your hair? Mama, can we braid it?
Yes.
Mama, can I pull it back in a ponytail? Mama, it's not long enough to go into a ponytail. I need you to rock that little short afro. Get it cut on purpose. Okay? Don't worry about whether it's long here and short there and straight here and cut. You can make a style out of anything.
Yes.
And you come and you rock your world that best says you.
That is beautiful.
And the most beautiful trait you have is this right here. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, yes, yes.
Come on.
Yes. And that's what they need to hear. Yes.
And it comes from right here. This is only as real as this is filled with love. Okay? So learn how to love, learn how to forgive as best as you can. Sometimes it's as hard. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I got called all kinds of names when I was in school. I got beaten up just because other people liked me. They said, well, she ain't all of that. I'm going to prove it. And the truth is, they never come at you one at a time.
Right.
They always come in a group. There's always a group of them. It's like, oh, okay. All right. So you have your own group. It's called your family. It's called your teachers. It's called real friends.
Yes.
It's called you. Your friend is only as good as you are to yourself.
Wow.
Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Even if just say it over and over again. I am the only me there will ever be, and I love me.
I love that. And it's interesting that you say that. Whenever I find myself encouraging women or girls or even young, just kids in general, that's one of the, I always use the mirror. I always use the mirror, so that you can really look at yourself and see who you are and understand who's looking back at you.
Yep.
You are not the things they say about you. You are not the things that, other people say you're going to be. You look at that person and you tell that person where you want that person to go, who you want that person to be, and how you view that person. And I asked you about that little girl because I was that little girl too, and I know what it felt like then. And people need to see people like you and look at where you are now, and still looking the same as you look when you first came on.
You're very kind. My zippers would say otherwise.
Well, fortunately, I don't have.
My zippers have a different opinion. Okay.
But it goes back to what I was saying about everything that I've seen you on. Just from being a fan, and then also looking at the footage and just kind of studying up on you to be prepared for this interview. And it's not to say that you don't have a bad day. It's not to say that you haven't been hurt. And it's not to say that you haven't had the normal life things that we all experience, but you seem to exude a certain type of joy about everything that you do. And that's been kind of a reigning theme. You see people, you see them, you see people on interviews and when it's kind of, they're faking the funk. We just need to get through it, and you see people that, you just have to do it because it's work. But I don't get that from you. Nothing that I've seen you do thus far seems like it's just work. Where does that come from?
Praise God. That's it.
Beautiful.
Praise God.
Yes.
God, find the joy in everything as best as you can. Be content in all things.
Yes.
You just find your best way to find the best perspective on it. And it's not that everything is joyous. Mm-hmm. It's not that I'm content with everything that happens to me or around me or through me or even because of me. Sometimes, you want to be better, you want to do better, but at the same time, I do my best to not spend my life wishing I was somewhere else, wishing I was someone else. All of those things that cause you to feel unsettled, to not have peace, to not have appreciation for what you do have. You know what I mean? And what is in your life. Going back to those little girls, it's like, okay, this is real. You only have 2 dresses. Mm-hmm. Make sure your dresses are clean. That's right. You should care that your dresses are clean. Don't wait for your mother to tell you to pick your clothes up off the floor, because those are the only clothes you have.
But that's a big deal, because what you just did was you took all the excuses away of not succeeding. Mm-hmm. That's in essence what you did. It said, yes, okay, like you said, you only have 2 dresses. Okay, how are you caring for those 2 dresses? Because if you can't take care of those 2 dresses, then how are you going to take care of 10 dresses?
Exactly.
Dresses?
Exactly.
You took all the excuses away.
Exactly.
And people need to hear that, not just our youth, but even our adults. They need to hear that, because they look at you in your accomplished state, but not understanding there was a journey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely a journey. And the journey continues. Okay, so that's for the little girls. Let's talk to the big girls.
Yes.
Now, all right, all you, grown women, I need you to see yourself as beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I need you to see yourself as valuable. And I'm not just talking about physically, the outward. I'm talking about the inward. And how you present yourself and what comes out of your mouth and what you allow to happen in your space and in your world. Enough of us bring stuff to us that we know good and well going in is not good for us. That's right. But yet we do it anyway. Because that same little girl still wants to fit in. She still wants to be liked. She still wants attention. She still wants to be all of these things. But you got to recognize what it is you're putting out and drawing to you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
You are what you surround yourself with.
You look at me. And people think, oh man, Dawnn Lewis, Jaleesa, da-da-da, she's got this, she's got that. How many of you watching today have ever experienced domestic violence? Okay, that's not necessarily something people would associate with me, especially after you described me the way you just did, of always seeming to have the positive, etc. take on things. I was raised in a house of domestic violence. My dad was very violent toward my mom. Like Tina Turner's story, my mom ended up leaving us for almost 2 years. We didn't see my mom so that she could go heal physically, mentally, economically in order for her to come back and get us, myself and my 3 brothers. So I watched that. I watched that happen. And it just didn't stop with my mom. He put hands on us too. By the grace of God, before my dad left this earth, he learned to make better choices. He learned to be a better person. But I also believe it was through the grace and forgiveness of my mom that he was able to do that. She didn't go back to him ever, but she did not poison us over what kind of person he was. Sure. She did not allow what happened to her to poison us as far as relationships go, as far as how we saw her, try her best to talk and interact with him on our behalf, all of those things. So what it taught me though, was that my brothers love me. I've got 3 of the most amazing brothers on the planet. My mom loves me. Those teachers loved me. I've had people in my life where when all the noise was happening on one side and the negativity and the bullying and the condemnation on one side, there was so much love on the other side. And by the grace of God, that was what I reached out to and gravitated toward. So when I finally met someone that I thought, this is it. I was like, Lord, I've been praying for my husband that you would have him find me, because the good book says that he who finds the wife, okay, fine. So all of you women out there who out there pitching and throwing and, you know, blowing hormones and pheromones and men and doing all of that. No, you asking for trouble.
That's
Not
right.
saying that you don't be open, but you need to prepare yourself to be the person you want to have in your life.
Yes, say that again.
You need to prepare yourself to be the person you say you want to have in your life.
Yes.
You want someone who you can trust, then you need to be trustworthy. You want someone who's going to be faithful, you need to practice fidelity.
Right.
Okay? I mean, all those kinds of things. So I thought that's who this man was. That's who he convinced me that he was. We went through premarital counseling for months. Okay? That's who he convinced me he was. Within 24 hours of us saying I do, it was like his head spun around. It was like, okay, now this is how this is going to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he revealed himself, his true self, that was manipulative, that was unfaithful, that was a liar, that had an ulterior plan, basically to facilitate his former lifestyle. Because all of what he was flossing, I came to find out wasn't even his.
Wow.
Wasn't even his.
What signs do you think you missed?
I didn't. And that's the point. That's the point. Because you do your homework, premarital counseling, you give it to God in prayer, you ask around, you investigate, all of that. Where I did miss, I will admit, was that I let it happen too fast. Like half a year.
Yes.
Which was never my MO before. Only time reveals who people really are. But everything was coming together in such a way that I thought, this must be God. Okay. So I let his voice, the man's voice, be stronger than my own spirit voice.
Wow.
That would have said, no, Dawnn, let him show you who he is over time before you make this life-changing choice. And some people love at first sight. They get married in a month. They stay married for 64 years. I know it happens. It's possible. Yes. But for my particular reality, had I stayed with him longer, he would have only been able to keep up the pretense for but so long before the rest of him really showed up. So when those things started to immediately reveal themselves, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm out. And he says, no, we just got married. You're going to be embarrassed. You can, all of this, all of that. And I was like, yeah, no, because God promised me his best and you ain't it. So I'm good. I'm out. And the fact that I was bold enough to say that to him gave him the bright idea of putting hands on me for about 40 minutes, bouncing me around his house, dragged me down a flight of stairs, all of that. Had to finally scream, kick to get myself out of the house into a police station.
And was this during your career?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
This was 16 years ago. About 16 years ago. Yeah. And that was one of the hardest things I'd ever had to do. This man that just a few months before I pledged to love and whatever for the rest of my life, I'm now having to report to the police. Okay? So I went through the court system. He tried to say that I beat him up. Even when the police came and got him, he admitted that he was pushing me around, trying to prevent me from leaving the house, that he grabbed me and just all of that. And the officer said, okay, sir, I'm going to need you to stop speaking because you've basically just admitted to assault. If her desire was to leave and you prevented her from leaving in any way, that's assault. Right. Okay, so I'm going to have to arrest you. Okay, so now he goes on this tirade because now he's embarrassed to say that I beat him up because I found out he was with some other chick. And I was like, nah, dude, she can have you. She can have you because we just got here. And if this is what you're doing, I know, you know what? I know how to fix this. I'm out. I don't got to fight you. You 6'4". How do I look fighting you?
Right.
No. I have the perfect solution. I'm just going to go.
Mm-hmm.
We never lived together, any of that. It was so new. We hadn't even moved houses yet.
Wow.
I still lived here. He still lived on the East Coast.
How did you function though during that time, still having to work and still going through such personal trauma?
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was very hard. And it wasn't until I was in that group of abused women or assaulted women that other women all of a sudden started telling me their stories. People I never would have guessed had gone through it or were presently going through it, who tapped me and said, I'm so proud of you. You were so brave to lead. And I'm thinking, no, that's just make sense. Why would I want to, subject myself to that? And then you think about it. There's lots of reasons women stay.
Yes.
Whether it's the kids, whether it's economics, whether it's status, whether it's them just thinking that that's all that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you grown women.
Yes.
You have to love yourself enough to save your own life.
That's right. That's right.
If you are in any kind of environment that even remotely resembles something like that, that is not love. That is not all there is. That is not all you deserve.
That's right.
And there are systems out there. There are people out there. There are support groups. There are legal services to help you protect yourself and your child if you have one.
That's right.
I went to counseling for 6 months.
Wow.
Because I kept blaming myself. I was like, how could I be so stupid? What did I miss?
But the fact that you went to counseling is a big deal because, within our community, we're starting to talk about it more now. But before it was taboo. It was hush, hush. No, we don't know.
No, I need you to help me understand because I'm smarter than that. I'm more accomplished than that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing isn't supposed to happen to me. I've taken too many precautions.
Mm-hmm.
What did I miss?
Yeah.
I thought I was listening to God. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? How stupid could I have been? The counselor helped me see, no, Dawnn, you did the right thing. You did what you were supposed to do. You do need to take more time. Anytime you talk about bringing somebody into your life, into your world, both emotionally, physically, and economically, because that's a marriage. A marriage is a partnership. You can have a prenup. You can do whatever you need to do to organize your finances and your businesses, but it is a partnership. Okay? Really know who you're connecting yourself to.
Yes.
And what she taught me, and one of my brothers said, Dawnn, flies land on and flowers. They don't distinguish.
Yeah.
But I need you to stop considering yourself. Stop it. Because you're not.
Yeah.
You're a flower. Again, there was that person speaking love into my life.
Wow.
So
did they know your brother? Did your brothers know?
They found out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Okay, moving right along.
And I've got 3 of them.
Right. That's why I asked.
And lots of male friends who were like, he did what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't wish harm to anybody.
Sure.
There are consequences for everything that we choose.
That's right. That's
do.
right. That's right.
For everything that we choose to do.
Yes. And a lot of women need to hear exactly what you're saying. I've seen it. I've seen it as early as even in high school. People knowing that a young lady is being physically abused by somebody on the football team, or, it happens at very, very early ages. One of my daughter's friends just told me when we took her to college a few months ago, she told me about an experience she had at 13 and 14 years old being physically abused. And it crosses economic barriers. You can have a little, you can have a lot. It doesn't matter. They need to hear that. And the thing that I'm most impressed, because a lot of women can't do what you did. A lot of women don't have the support structure that you did, like saying having, you know, you got the bad noise, but you got enough of the good stuff to drown that stuff out, but still for them to understand, like you said, that there are resources out there. That, you know, you're not alone, no matter, they're going to tell you, you know, nobody's going to want you. Nobody's going to love you.
Exactly. It's not true.
No, I mean, but I get
you wanted me, okay? Yes. People want me. I am wantable, and I'm only going to get better.
That's right.
I'm committed to only getting better.
That's right.
And you got to do that. You talk about the mirror. You have to be willing to really look at who's in the mirror.
That's right.
Because if you really look at who's in the mirror, truth be told, there's some things even you wouldn't like.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that you don't have a good self-image. I'm saying, you know, good and well, you gossip way too much.
Introspection. Yes.
You know good and well, you don't need to be in that outfit. You know good and well, not every fit is for everybody.
That's right.
You need some other friends who would tell you, baby girl. What else you got in that closet?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the girlfriend. Yes.
The way you speak. I mean, all of it. You know the things that you could and should be doing better. Right. You know good and well you spending more money than you earn.
That's right.
Do better.
Right. That's right.
Okay? You know good and well
yes.
You got too many people coming up and through your house as Uncle so-and-so around your kids. You know.
Say that again. Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah.
What kind of example are you setting? What kind of, because they see, and they're not foolish, they are exposed to so much, our kids these days. There's so little censorship for their minds and their emotions and their characters. You know, thankfully though, they're living in a more homogenized world because cultures have intermarried. You know, we live more in same neighborhoods. We go to more of the same restaurants and schools. So it's not as unusual to see a person of a different culture in the places where you may go, because there was a time where we were more isolated and the internet wasn't available. So you only saw what you saw, but now you can see everything and anything. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go in a minute.
Sure.
But be careful what you expose yourself to, what you expose your kids to, what you allow them to be exposed to, because a child is still a child.
That's right.
A child doesn't need to be telling you to get out of my room. I'm sorry. In the room in the house that I paid the mortgage for and pay the bills and to feed you in that room.
Right.
I tell you what, you know what? I need to save a few dollars. How about we start taking the doors off? How about, because we could save some money on all the energy it takes to open and close these. I'm gonna take this door off. How about that?
Right. No, I mean,
you know, talking back, like, you know, what are you in charge of?
That's right.
What is it you think you know at 15 that I don't know at 25 or 30?
That's right.
What is it that you think you know everything and I know absolutely nothing? I see. Okay.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
I'm the one you come to, Mama, I need, Mama, I need, Mama, I need.
Absolutely. And that speaks to a lot of what we see in our generations today. And I'm so glad you brought out all of those things. And you pretty much covered a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about, because women need to hear it. They can hear it from me. They can hear it from other people. But looking at people like you are not so far removed from reality and from life. You've experienced things, but you're still standing and you're still here to be able to encourage them in those different ways. And I just think that that's awesome. One of the questions that I always ask all of my guests is, our theme is defining beauty, loving me. How would you define beauty and loving me? How would you define that?
I would define beauty as being synonymous with character. Who am I when nobody's looking? Who am I in the tea bag that is my life when the hot water is poured on me. What taste comes out of my heart? What smell comes out of my choices? Am I all nice and pretty and shiny when everything is cool, but when the hot water comes, I'm foul in what I say, I'm foul in what I do, I'm foul in what I think? That's not beauty. So to me, beauty is healthy and a caring and a loving character. Because I know some really physically attractive people who, when they open their mouths and do what they do, are not so pretty. And I know some people with birthmarks and some disfigurations or awkwardness or challenges that when you see their heart and who they are from the inside out, they are some of the most beautiful people I have ever met on this planet. I'm getting ready to cry. They're some of the most beautiful people I have ever met on this planet. So that's how I would describe beauty.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, because you're talking. So stop it now, because you're about to take me. Stop it. No, I mean, that is probably one of the best explanations or interpretations of what that means. And I asked that to a lot of people because that came from a place.
Because growing up, I never considered myself beautiful or attractive. I considered myself very ordinary. There were always people more physically beautiful than me, or more talented than me, or had more opportunity than me. I was that kid that didn't always know what to do with their hair, or like I said, didn't have the right clothes and didn't live in the right house or in the right neighborhood, and all of that. Even when I auditioned for ADifferentWorld, I auditioned for it because that's what I do. And like I said, I've always been that person to challenge myself. But when I walked in that audition and I saw the other ladies that were there for the job, I tell the story unashamedly. I was the only person in the room I didn't recognize. Wow. There were people I'd seen in magazines, on stage, in commercials, and TV shows, light-skinned, skinny, long hair, and I was like, and then me, the brown-skinned kid in the room. And then at one of the callbacks, it was me and Joie Lee. I was like, oh, Spike Lee's sister, okay, here goes that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So again, and it wasn't until you get on television, and now I'm thinking, oh God, now I'm on television. So like the whole world is gonna see just how ordinary I am.
Wow. And
so just so not skinny, just so not, what they're accustomed to seeing. And instead, I got nothing but love. I got nothing but encouragement. I got nothing but support. And even when some of the shows that I was on tried to make me like the ugly duckling, because I wasn't the skinny one or I wasn't the light skinned one, the Lord and the viewers did not allow that to sit and to rest, no matter how much they tried to do that. Because if you remember on ADifferentWorld, they had me playing the older character. Mm-hmm. I was just taller than everybody. I was younger than a lot of the people in the cast, or the same age. I was just taller. But they dressed me like my mama and my auntie. Every episode, I was covered up in big, huge sweaters and shirts. You thought I was a brick wall often in that series. And then when I left there and went hang with Mr. Cooper and started wearing clothes that fit me, but oh, look, Dawnn lost like 25 pounds. Like, no, I'm just wearing clothes that fit now. But almost every show I've done since then, I was supposed to do one episode of Major Crimes, and they loved the chemistry I had with the cast so much. They said, no, you have to come back. So again, showing up and what they saw in my character, right. Meaning Dawnn's character, not as an actress, but as a human being, said, we want you around. So what was supposed to be one episode turned into 4.5 years on that show. But again, it's like, okay, can we get a sweater for Dawnn? Can we cover her up? Can we put her in because we have her married to GW and she needs a little more tamed down. And yeah, it's like, whatever. But just I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the ride. I'm grateful to you for wanting to have this conversation, Shannon. Thank you so much. And to all of your viewers who expressed interest in us having this conversation, thank each and every one of you, the big girls, the grown girls, the almost grown girls, and the trying to grow up girls. We're all in this together. So I'm really happy to be here. And the journey continues. Quick story, even while I was doing Tina on Broadway, people would come and see the show, watch me on stage playing Zelma Bullock for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Show was over. Come out the stage door, groups, gangs of people outside the stage door, want autographs, want to say hi. What do they say? Jaleesa! I was like, okay. All right. Didn't you just watch me for 3 hours be a whole other? Okay. All right. I get it. You like her. You love her. You understand that was 30-something years ago. Okay. Yeah. I have done some stuff since then. Okay, fine.
And I hesitated to put A Different World because initially I didn't have it on the flyer. And then I put it, then I grappled with it, and then I put it on the flyer. And then because what I didn't want was people to pigeonhole you thinking that that's all you've done. I wanted people to understand that you are an extraordinary human being. And then that's just not me souping you up. People that know me know I don't do that. I'd rather just smile and say, have a nice day than to soup you up. But no, you've done some extraordinary things. I think you're a beautiful individual inside and out. I love what you're doing. I love the fact that it's still a journey because there's just more of you, to give to this world. And I'm hoping that once we get past this pandemic, that, we can connect again. I would love to even be a part of your ANewDayFoundation to see what I can give to these young people. Though that's near and dear to my heart. I would absolutely love that.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'm going to take you up on that.
I'll
hold you to it.
Thank you. Now I know you got to go. This is the last little part here because we got to do it with everybody. So I got to do it with you.
Okay.
Word association.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So you have to tell me the first thing or the first word that comes to your mind when I say it. You ready?
All right. Here we go.
Okay. Dream.
Future.
Okay. Purpose.
Reason for living.
Okay. Okay. Youth. Hope. Okay. Now, this is a funny one. I don't even know if you'll get this one, but Shaft.
Richard Roundtree.
And why did I bring him up?
I don't know. Why did you bring up Richard?
Don't you play golf with him?
Oh, yes, I do. I do.
Chance on that one.
There you go.
Zelma.
Shoot, man. Survivor.
All right. Joyce.
My heart. That's my mom. Yeah. My mom is Joyce. That's my heart. You talk about inspiration. Wow. That's my heart. My mom, she was the oldest of 10, 8 of which survived. So she's the oldest of 8. And she sponsored her family. My family was born from Guyana, South America. So she married my dad, came into this country and sponsored her siblings and her parents into this country. And I watched my mom blossom from this caretaker of everybody into being her own person, probably not till her 50s or so, her 50s, where I would start taking her with me on these places wherever I was filming and doing things. And then she decided, she let me know she was gonna go on this trip by herself. It's like, oh, okay, she's gonna meet some friends. Oh, okay, she'd never done it before. My mom sacrificed a lot for myself and my brothers. My mom never remarried. One of her biggest fears was that some man would come in the house, and because I wasn't his daughter, take advantage of me.
That's a mama.
Huh?
That's a mama.
That's my mama. My mom, she just turned 87 this year. My mom still drives. She still does her own taxes. She still does all kind of stuff. She still calls the phone the wire. I can't get her out of that. The phones haven't had wires in I don't know how long, but okay, hold the wire. All right. My mom, at that age, still travels around the world to third world countries and helps build schools and churches. And she's a retired nurse, so she helps give medical care in different villages and such. So I've done 2 of these mission trips with her. It's with an organization called Maranatha. And so we went to Guyana, where my family is from, where I had never been before. So she was able to show me around. So while I was there, I helped build a school and a church. I taught Bible study classes. I did some concerts and such. And then a year and a half ago, we went to India. And my foundation, we sponsored an entire school with backpacks, notebooks, water bottles, pens and pencils, etc. I went with my mom into certain villages, and my mom brought this huge suitcase full of flip-flops and toothbrushes and toothpaste and combs and hair combs and things. You would be amazed at how grateful some of these people were just to have a toothbrush. So that's the kind of person that my mom is. So my mom, by the grace of God, she's a walking miracle. She really is. So she really is my heart, my inspiration.
Wow, that's beautiful. I hope to meet your beautiful mother someday. She sounds extraordinary. And that's why I thought it important to put that in there.
Thank you.
All right, we got 2 more.
Okay.
Song.
I know my parents love me. They stand beside me, come what may. There you go. It's a different world than where you come from. Ha!
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Last most important one. Dawnn.
A new day. A new opportunity. Not done yet. In Spanish, amanecer. In the world of science, aurora. In Fijian, matakalailai. Dawn. Get ready.
You are an incredible individual. I mean, I knew this would be good, but this is better than I anticipated. So we're going to have to do this again.
I look forward to it.
This is going to be awesome. I thank you so much for sharing your heart with my Hello Beautiful audience. And I pray that women are blessed and inspired because of what you shared. I pray you nothing but God's best, and that your journey will just get better and better, and that every place your feet shall tread, I pray that it is a blessed environment, and that when you leave from that place, you will have left it better than it was when you stepped in it.
Amen. Amen. That's scripture right there, talking about being salt and light. What? You better preach on the down low. You better preach. Come on now. Be salt and light, because you don't put light up on a hill and put it under a lampshade. It needs to be seen to illuminate. And salt. Salt preserves, salt seasons, salt inspires. Yes. Come on now.
Yes.
What?
Don't start stuff now.
I pray the
listen.
I pray the same for you and your family. I do. Are you married?
I am. I have a husband and 4 kids.
And 4 kids. Oh my goodness. And you're still smiling. Good for you. Good for you. Amen.
Yes, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you and your family. Please stay safe. You know, stay safe and continue to educate and inspire them and love on them. And I'm so grateful to them, because the fact that you're here means that they are already supporting and inspired by you and what you are doing, or you wouldn't be so comfortable doing it. So I applaud that. I applaud that man who stands beside you, in front of you to protect you, behind you to make sure nothing sneaks up on you, and alongside you to remind you that you are his partner. Y'all are in it together.
I see you trying to take me to a place. Thank
So
you.
come on. Come
Yes,
on.
I
God bless
appreciate
you. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for creating this opportunity for us sister friends to talk and to
Yes.
share and to be real. So
Thank you.
I hope I said something that makes a difference to somebody. And if not,
No, I sure.
well,
Oh, you said a mouthful, and I know. I have 3 daughters, so I know at the very least, I know my girls. You've said a lot of things that hit home, and just reiterated things that I tell them just about life. So I thank you for that.
my pleasure.
Thank
pleasure.
you. I pray.
Enjoy your day.
Yes.
All right.
Until
And
we
don't
meet.
grow up to be, huh?
I said until we meet again.
Until we meet again, don't grow up to be a serial killer or a stalker. That's an inside joke, y'all. We were talking about that before we got on the air. Never mind.
Yes.
Me and her.
Yes. Yes. But thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. One last thing.
Sure.
I want to say thank you to everyone who voted.
Yes.
At the time of this conversation, I don't know what the outcome is. But if you voted, then that means you were standing strong, you were standing in appreciation, you were standing in honor of all those who came before us, who gave their lives, who gave their time, who gave their craft, who gave everything they had so that we could have the opportunity to vote. And if you didn't vote, I ain't ashamed to say it, shame on you.
Yes.
We
Thank you.
got to do better. It's not going to get better until we do better.
Yes.
So
That's right. And I pray that by the time this airs, I pray that we are on the better side.
hello.
Of where
If
we
not,
are.
I'm gonna count how many pennies I have saved and see what Bora Bora looks like. That's
Take me with you.
you can't bring all them kids though. No.
I'm about to say, I come with baggage. Fortunately, I got 2 in college, one almost through high school. So how about half? Can I bring half?
Is it the boy or the girl?
The 2 oldest daughters are in college, and then my son. I have 1 spoiled rotten son, and then my baby girl, Sydney.
All right, how old is she?
Sydney's 13. She just turned 13.
Oh.
You'd love Sydney, though. You'd love Sydney. You would.
Okay, she's not the average 13-year-old giving you grief saying, Mama, get out of my room.
Oh, no.
Mama, stop reading my text. Mama, stop checking
I have to get out of my room, so no. She's in my room as we speak. Yes.
All right, I really got to go. All right, take care.
Okay.
On the next episode of Shannon Ayers Speaks, hello beautiful, boy do we have a treat for you as we are excited to meet the beautiful Bernadette Stannis.